From Southern California, this is The Circle of Insight, a show about everything in psychology. Hear the latest in news and views on psychology. Our motto is simple: wherever there is psychology involved, we are there. And now, here's your host of The Circle of Insight, Carlos Vasquez.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We have a fabulous show for you. Today, we're going to be exploring how do women get confidence. Well, we have a special guest with us, Christina Nimergood. Christina Nimergood is the author of this wonderful book, The Sacred Garden of She. There it is. She is a creative mind and proud owner of Fevolution.com, a social community that helps awaken millennial women to an elevated consciousness and heightened way of living through a unique blend of life coaching and motivational products. Her mission in life is simple. It's to help women find themselves, their happy, and their hustle. The effect is them being the model for change they wish to see in the world. Welcome to the Circle, Christina.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
It's really an amazing book. You have a lot of stuff in here for people.
Thank you.
For women especially, to try to get them the confidence back in their life. So how do you help women gain confidence?
First and foremost, I help women gain confidence in themselves and through themselves. I believe that confidence is a spectrum. So at first you can kind of gauge it as I find confidence outside of myself, in my possessions, in my positions, in what other people think about me, their opinions. And then you come over here to where most people want to be, which is finding confidence within myself, knowing who I am and having that inner conviction. So I bring women from here, finding it outside themselves, to here, finding the confidence within themselves.
That's really good stuff. And you were talking about, I know in your book you mentioned there's different areas of our brain. There's the right and left hemisphere. Mm-hmm. There's also the neocortex, limbic system, the reptilian brain. Do you delve in those areas as well with the female? So you're really going into the brain.
Oh, totally. Absolutely. And it's understanding that there's so many parts of us, and when you know why you do what you do, which it begins in your mind, the all is in the mind. Our behaviors, everything spawns from different parts of our brain. So I break it down in a simple form that we can understand why we do what we do, why I feel the way that I feel, how can I feel better, how can I do better. And when you go through your different layers of what makes you up, you have that awareness. And when you're aware of the things that you do, you can course correct as you go.
Because we have past associations and past experiences and relationships, and those seem to dictate a lot of times how we make decisions in our lives.
Yes.
So you're going around and identifying those for them?
Yes, and helping you figure out what's your pattern, what is that makeup of you, and then reconditioning it if you would like to.
That's great. Now, here's a question. We're going to go away from the client for a second, and I want to delve more into the mind of Nimergood. And what motivates you? What empowers you?
I find my motivation from within, and the empowerment it for sure comes through the mission that moves through me and the message that I believe I'm here to share at this point in my life, which is helping women find who they are so they too can live what's in them.
And you have a wonderful story. We talked off camera a little bit about that tattoo on your left arm.
Oh, yes.
With the tiger and the flower. Yeah, it had a really neat meaning. What was the meaning of that tiger?
Yeah.
Maybe you can...
Let's see, I might be able to
there you go.
Do this right here. The tiger, I had an incredible experience at a Tony Robbins seminar. I studied Tony's work for the past 2 years and totally immersed myself in the culture. And I've come to find out that the tiger is my spirit animal, and the team that I was on was called the Destiny Tigers. So I put this there as a little memorabilia for how far I've come and where I am now, and the courage that I seek to instill in my life today. And what this all starts from and spawns from is a passion flower at the very bottom. And through passion, life comes to life.
That's wonderful. It's really neat.
Yeah.
So you talk a little bit in your book about behaviors, values, and beliefs. What do you do to help your clients in regards to their values and beliefs? That's something I know that really can limit us in progressing in life if we have limiting beliefs or values.
We would start with identifying what your values are and prioritizing your values. So when you know what you value, then you can set yourself up to be in better positions and to have a higher caliber of experience in life. And the beliefs come through that. It's formulating beliefs that truly empower you as a person. And you pretty much hold no room for disempowering thoughts and beliefs that may have been negative seeds planted in the past from yourself, self-sabotaging thoughts, or from others that we've allowed to kind of rest on our mind, even though that it has nothing to do with that, It's kicking those to the side and building up a new belief that really is a belief in yourself and what you can do.
And a lot of times these values and beliefs, we're not even aware of them ourselves.
Very true. Yeah.
Interesting. So your job is, you're almost like a detective.
Yeah.
You got to explore the mind of your client, look for things they're not even aware of, and see what you can do.
Totally. Yes.
Very fascinating. Now, in your book, you also include exercise and nutrition in there. Is that really important?
Absolutely. For me personally, exercise and nutrition has been a part of my life since I was very young. And the more that I guess the deeper that I've gone in my personal development journey, the more I understand and have respect for just how interrelated our mind, body, and spirit is. And I formed the personal belief that my external world is a reflection of my internal condition. So it's empowered me to want to take care of my body, to want to eat the right foods and sustain my health, because without this, without my body, without our bodies, not much is going to happen. So it's getting back to it and taking care of the temple that our bodies are, and respecting it and valuing it as such.
So that's one important aspect of it. It also gives you more energy, I'm assuming. And
yeah, peak performance starts with a strong foundation.
Now, when I was looking through your book, you also talked a lot about this true soul self and this false ego self.
Yes.
The false ego self, are you referring to this false image that we're presenting to other people, or what was that all about?
The false ego self would be the self that thrives in self-sabotaging thoughts. It's separation from your mind and your body. And it's separating from your core, from your heart, from who you truly are, which is your soul self. Sometimes we mask our soul selves as a protection. And as, okay, if I'm my true self, my soul self, I might not be viewed as good enough. Maybe I'm not good enough. So it's those self-sabotaging thoughts and beliefs that often kick up that makes our ego self lead. And we're hiding our soul self back here.
Wow. So when we're doing this, that can really limit us what we're going to do in our lives.
Yes.
Having this false ego guiding us around. What are some of the negatives of having this false ego? Besides limiting you reaching your goals, what are some of the negative effects that it has on women?
Living a life where you feel unfulfilled. Even though you're working and you're making money and you have the husband and the house or whatever it is that suits you, there's still that little inkling inside that just is not enough. You're unfulfilled. There's something more. There must be something more. And if you feel that, then you know which self you're leading with.
Interesting. In the last show, I know we talked a little bit about one of your clients who was having a hard time finding a suitable mate, I guess you can say. And then she had the negative thoughts, and she was guiding her towards negative individuals. Eventually, you helped her redirect her thoughts, and she was able to find a positive individual. Is that something that really happens a lot? Is that also due to the false self?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. All right, we're done. Have a good night, everyone. So that kind of helps everybody. So when you're looking at that, you're trying to help them with their relationships. You're going to try to identify those false ego systems to help them find a better relationship.
Absolutely. To first help them find a better relationship with themselves.
With themselves,
so that they can attract a better relationship outside of themselves.
So make yourself healthy before.
Absolutely.
Hi, welcome to Adelante. This is Adelante Recovery, and my name is Yvette Kuglin, and I'm part of the staff.
Adelante Recovery Center has helped people in dual diagnosis for 5 years. We accept most PPO insurances and provide luxury accommodations and 24-hour support. To speak with an admissions counselor, call 1-888-242-4450.
A lot of time we don't even know what's wrong with us, and sometimes we need to get away to figure that out. So if you want to go for a little retreat out in Corona Del Mar, which is a confidential location, we're here to help. So we're only a phone call away. Thank you.
Why do you think they go after these individuals? I know it's the false self system, but are they trying to fill some need inside of them?
Yeah, well, there's definitely human needs that motivate people. One of those human needs is significance. We all want to feel significant. We all want to feel like we mean something. And in the past, especially when we're younger, our ego self has achieved that for us. It's not until we get older and we start to come into our own and find the confidence within ourselves, that transition from confidence outside of you to confidence within you. It's also the spectrum of I'm living my ego self to I'm living my soul self. So it's within that transition that we start to position ourselves.
And what kind of societal pressures, what kind of pressure does society put upon the female millennial? In other words, what do they have to be according to society?
Oh, yes.
Does Christina have to be rich and famous? Does she have to be super smart? What is the pressures that you see society is posing on women?
Yeah, well, I can definitely speak for myself here that Christina thought she had to be a lot for other people. And it led me to live a life that I just wasn't happy with.
A lot in one sense.
Measuring up, making the money, having the kids by the time I'm 25 or whatever. Just following suit of what has happened historically, I guess. And measuring myself up to what other people are doing and judging, and well, this person's done this by this time in their career. I haven't done it yet. So it's definitely getting away from that.
And you feel that a lot in the millennial group. You feel that a lot.
Yes.
They're all going through the same struggles.
Yes.
Do you think it's an American thing? Do you think it might be international as well?
Well, I think there's definitely a difference between the Western mindset and the Eastern mindset. And that's why I think it's so beautiful that America, for instance, is having this cultural influence. And it's just this big pot that's fusing of people and mindsets. And it's a beautiful time to really learn something from other people that just moved here, from internationals, from everybody. It's a good time to take note of how they view the world and vice versa.
So that kind of gives you a little bit more of a comprehensive picture of maybe what we should be like, or what we could be like, is better said?
What we could be like, absolutely.
Now, we were talking a lot before about inner thoughts. People have these inner thoughts where they tell themselves things, and that can be really a problem. Asking yourself the wrong questions can be an issue, correct?
Yes.
So if you ask your questions such as, why has this always happened to me? Why am I this way? What do you do with a person like that?
First, it would be to help them to understand that the world works for you, not against you. So instead of asking yourself, why does this always happen to me, reframe that primary question, because we all have a primary question that we ask ourselves. And so instead of asking, why does this always happen to me, what can I do to appreciate my life right now? What can I do to position myself to be where I perform at peak? It's shifting that primary question to be more empowering, one that's actually going to elevate you as a person.
Interesting. And do you think a lot of women are going through that? Do they ask themselves these questions all the time? Why is this world? Actually, a better question I was thinking about, do you find a lot of women, and I'm just using women right now because that's where your main focus is on Femolution.com, by the way. Do you find they defer responsibility a lot?
Yes. It's so easy to
This isn't my fault.
Yes, to find the problem outside of ourselves, because then we don't hold ourselves accountable. And it's because of everybody else, because of my circumstance, because of my story in the past, that I'm not where I'm supposed to be.
Do you think that's a millennial thing, or do you think that happens in all generations?
Oh, I think that's a human thing. It might be more focused on the millennials, because we're, especially around this age, the quarter life crisis, kind of going through it, and I think that's molding years where you're really asking yourself that question. It just naturally comes up, waiting for you to answer it.
Let's bring Carlita back. Carlita asks Christina, and she says, look, this isn't my fault. This is this guy's fault. He did this. I lost my job. My boss was this. I'm just not a good, I'm not a good person. What do you say to her?
Yeah, we would, Carlita, we would sit down and we would help you discover what it is that is awesome about you, what you do that rocks, and that would be the starting point.
So when you say what do you do that rocks, are you looking for things that make them happy, or they're good at, or?
Remembering, we would recall a time in your past where you felt empowered, and where you felt motivated, and where you felt like you were good enough, and you felt in alignment with who you are as your true self.
Do you use visualization at all?
Absolutely, yep. Visualizations is one of the exercises that I actually hit on in the book.
If you haven't seen it, you're going to see it again. There it is. Yep. Secret Garden of She. So yeah, you actually have a lot of exercises in this book. It's actually a workbook per se.
Yes.
Okay, so the visualization, how would that work here? So Carlita, what was Carlita going to start looking at?
So she would close her eyes, and she would just start to think about who she is as a person and what truly does get her going and ignite her inner pilot, really fuel her, and just immersing that feeling all over your body. Because what that does is that brings inner conviction. And from that inner conviction, you can make moves that are going to be more aligned from your true self.
Interesting. So you want them to see their true self in a sense.
Yes.
You also have them visualize their goals in the future, because we talked about that earlier.
Yes. Feeling it. I'm big on feeling. Life is emotion, right? Life is energy in motion. So when we can get in tune with our emotions and what makes us feel good and what empowers us and what motivates us, then we'll be at cause for creating it. We just have to get at cause of it first.
That brings another question. So you've seen these people, they're in front of you, their eyes are closed, and they're doing the visualization exercises. Do you see physiological changes? Do you see them breathing faster, slower? Do you see anything like that?
Absolutely. In the visualization exercises, it's more, it's not a guided meditation. It has the vibe of that. So it's more relaxed. And there's another exercise called the Ring of Power, where we stand up and we place a hoop on the ground. And that's where the physiology really kicks into place. Because at that point, I want you to really feel what it feels like to feel empowered and to express and move your body that way. Because it builds in muscle memory, and that feels good. And it's easier to go back to that place.
So you almost create like a trigger in a sense.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. So I'm assuming, let's say Carlita wants to have an ideal husband or an ideal mate. We'll back it off from the husband. Ideal relationship. So she visualizes what the guy is going to be like. She visualizes the characteristics of the man.
Absolutely.
Does she also visualize how she's going to behave? And do you ever work on that? Because maybe she wants to behave in a certain way. I want to dictate in the relationship. And you say, well, wait a minute,
Yeah.
We're going to have to create a better goal than that. You work on that as well, try to make a better goal?
Yes, when we work on relationships outside of ourselves, this all comes after we work on the relationship within herself and Carlita getting comfortable with who she is. Because when she's comfortable with who she is, and that's odds are who she wants to be in a relationship, she just hasn't been able to be that yet. Maybe because she didn't even know that's who she was, or because she didn't feel like it was good enough. But now that she's this person, then we focus on the relationship, and who she is or who she's becoming happens and unfolds naturally. It's really beautiful.
You've been doing this for a long time. And do you believe in the as-if principle then, where she has to act as if she's that person?
Yes.
Okay. That's a pretty powerful principle, I remember.
Yes. It's almost expecting it. And if I act as if this, then I'm prepared and I'm ready and I have the foundation to attract what it is I really want to attract.
Interesting.
There's
Very
alignment.
good. Excellent stuff. Well, once again, fabulous stuff. Time is running out like it always does on the show because there's so much good material. She's a wonderful, wonderful energy from Christina Nimergood. Thank you so much for being on The Circle. Once again, if you want to get a hold of Christina Nimergood, actually, I'll let her tell you where you can get a hold of her.
You can find me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Christina Nimergood, and my website, femilution.com.
Once again, I highly recommend it. Great book, The Sacred Garden of She. Once again, femilution.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Remember, the motto is simple. Wherever there's psychology involved, we are there. See you next time, everyone.